Now let's look at secondary groups on steroids, formal organizations. As we move from an agrarian or agricultural based economy where almost everything was made by hand, and then we moved to the Industrial Revolution using machines and capital to build the things we need in a more efficient way, we needed to have a way to serve a growing population. So efficiency became the norm of the business model. It's important to be efficient because efficiency and profitability are tied together in a capitalist economy. So now we're going to look at formal organizations. So a formal organization, and again, I'm checking the notes to make sure I get all of the points. A formal organization is a large secondary group that's been organized to achieve its goal efficiently. So efficiency is to do it well and to do something fast. And again, the more efficient you are, the more money you make. Think about someone that has like a fast food restaurant. The more customers they serve, and the faster they serve customers, the more people they can serve, so the more money they make. You might work for a company that has an efficiency standard. So it's important that you do your job by processing so many cases a day. I used to work in community mental health, so we had to see so many clients in a day so that we can bill the insurance company to make a profit. So that's an example of how efficiency works. So if you're going to have a growing, burgeoning population of people, then you've got to serve them in a certain amount of time. Because the more people we have, the more needs they have. So the best way to get that need met is to do it efficiently. So there are three types of formal organizations. The first is a normative organization. Now this is an organization that you volunteer to be part of because you're pursuing a moral goal. You're trying to give back to someone less fortunate than you. So let's see. Big Sisters, Big Brothers, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the American Red Cross, Literacy Volunteers of America, Capuchin Soup Kitchen, Forgotten Harvest. These are some of the organizations that people volunteer to be part of. But they're still efficient. They still work according to a certain structure because you have a lot of people in need. So you have to serve them efficiently. So if it's an organization where you're not getting paid, but you're giving back to someone less fortunate, that is a normative organization. Now let's look at the second type of organization, a coercive organization. What does the term coerce or coercive means? It means to force. So this is an organization that forces membership upon individuals. Now I'm not talking about the mob or gang. I'm talking about a legal formal organization. Well, here's two. One, the prison system. If you break the law and you're convicted of a crime, you go to prison. You don't get to tell the judge, hey man, I'm going home. No. If you're convicted and sentenced that day, the handcuffs go on and you go to jail unless the judge decides to have you serve your sentence at a later time. Sometimes they do that with white collar criminals. But what they call street criminals or people that engage in violent or drug offenses, they tend to send them to jail right away. Here's another one, selective service. If you're a young American male and you turn 18 years of age, then you're supposed to register with Selective Service. And Selective Service, you register for Selective Service through the, I believe it's the post office, on your 18th birthday. So there's a list that our government keeps of young men who are 18 years and older. If we go to war and we run out of a volunteer army, there's not enough people that are part of the military, they may have to draft you. So when you sign up for Selective Service, then you're on the list to be drafted if it becomes necessary to draft young men to fight in a war to protect the nation. Okay, the third type of formal organization is a utilitarian organization. And this is one that offers income and personal freedom, but the environment is still coercive. So think about your job. Yeah, you have freedom. You get to leave after a certain shift. You might have days off, sick days, vacation days, things of that nature, and they pay you. But while you're there, you're expected to work. So even if you have a job like me as a college professor, you still have to work. I mean, I can't have my students come to class and just be on their phones all day while I read a book. No, I'm expected to teach. So, despite the fact that I am working under laissez faire administration, meaning it's hands off and they give me a lot of autonomy in the job, I'm still expected to do my job. And that's what makes the environment coercive. Now, one final note on these formal organizations. It is possible that one institution can be all three to three different people. Let's think about a prison system. To the inmates, what type of organization would that be? If you said coercive, you would be correct. What about the prison staff? Utilitarian. Exactly. What about people that are part of prison ministry or Literacy Volunteers of America? Normative. So it's possible for an institution to be a school or a prison, but it can be three different things to three different people. Now, I mentioned the school. Here's an example of that. In the United States, K through 12 education is mandatory for students between the ages of 5 and 16. So you have to go to school, even if it's homeschooling. So that means that you can't decide not to go to school when you're 13 years of age, because then your parents will pay a price for that. So a school is coercive for students. For the teachers and the principals, it's utilitarian. For the parents that are part of the PTA or Parent Teachers Association, it's voluntary, meaning it's normative. So that's an example, again, of an institution being three different types of formal organizations to three different types of individuals.